Imagine a moment, a time before your birth, when you were wandering the heavens as a discarnate soul. You are immersed in the beauty and peaceful harmony of paradise when a call went out for volunteers to incarnate in bodily human form. A small blue planet in the far reaches of the Milky Way galaxy was experiencing a crisis and was in need of souls who were willing to incarnate in a human body to help out in Earth's time of need. You made the decision to volunteer. You next met with the Incarnation Committee to discuss with its members the part you wanted to play and the work you wanted to do. You made a covenant at that time to do the work you agreed to do. But there was a catch. Not only were you to serve, you were also required to grow. It was your job to increase the intensity of your light and to grow in wisdom and in stature as well as serve. You next had to make a series of decisions that would perfectly situate you to be of maximum service and to develop a custom-designed learning curriculum for your soul to assure its maximum learning potential. You had to decide what particular set of gifts, talents, and abilities you wish to bring with you to contribute to life on Earth and to the human family. The dreams and aspirations that would lead you to your destiny to fulfill your earthly covenant. A date of birth determining an astrological configuration that would give you clues to your soul's earthly purpose and destiny. A place on Earth, a climate zone, a region in which to reside, a racial and ethnic form that would enable you to best express yourself, a socio-economic class that would provide you with the challenges and benefits you need in order to learn and serve, a spiritual tradition with its particular set of rituals and practices that would support you, a gender with its attendant opportunities and challenges, a particular set of parents that would provide you with their particular strengths, with qualities that you could draw upon, and with a designed set of difficulties that you would experience with them in order to learn, grow, and to prepare you for the service that you are to perform. Your siblings and your relationship to them in age, plus the companionship and the conflicts with them that would provide you with important lessons and resources. And finally, a name for yourself. Once these decisions were made, you were free to incarnate and begin your earthly mission, forgetting all that went on before. But with time, you would slowly but surely begin to rediscover why you are here and how wisely you chose, because every factor in your life has perfectly positioned you for the service you are to perform and has maximized your potential for learning and growing. And so it is. So think about that. No one is against you because you made an agreement before you got here that you would experience life as it was drawn to you. Experiences don't have you. You allow experiences. You're the one that gets to decide when something happens in your life. Is that good? Is that bad? How do I feel? And then we get into that challenge of expressing ourselves and wanting to be right and make somebody wrong. It was awful the way so-and-so treated me. And we go on and on and on. Gary Simmons met with some Hindu astrologers. And they do their astrology based on more than just the planets that a regular astrologer that we are familiar with would do it. And how they read him his chart is they ask him a simple question. Give me 5 experiences in your life that you deem to be fabulous. And give me 5 experiences in your life that you deem not to be fabulous. And he was like, okay. And so he thought about his life, thought about his 5 wives. He's got me beat there. And he was embarrassed that he'd been married so many times. And the astrologer said, what did each person gift you in your relationship? What did you gain from being in relationship with each one of those women. Instead of looking at why it didn't last, what went wrong, what was the gift? Why did your soul say, I'm going to partner with this person for a specific amount of time? Because if we start to look at life as a soul's journey that the soul has been in agreement with since before we got here, then there is nothing wrong. There is nobody against you. It is all an experience. And it's how we show up that defines who we are as people and how our soul is growing or is stuck. And so Gary at that time in his life thought he was stuck. And the astrologer said, you have infinite possibilities. Don't we say that all the time? We have infinite possibilities. Then why does the future always look like the past? And he said, because you are attached to your past and you keep sharing that or living in it. If you're not sharing it with people in your mind, you keep going over and over and over again and again. And so when we do that, what we know here, what we teach here is, if I'm going to give a lot of thought to something, it's going to keep occurring in my life. Now, it may not look the same. I am sure all 5 of Gary's wives didn't look exactly the same. He was probably amazed, as I was, when a marriage ended and I would get married again and then think, wow, this feels really familiar. Because obviously with him as with me in those relationships, what we had decided we were going to heal, by being in that relationship, we didn't allow to be healed. So we ended the relationship thinking, that's good, I'm done with that. And the soul's like, yeah, no, you're not. No, you're not. So let's just bring it in a different form. Somebody better looking than your first husband, maybe a little bit richer, still mean. Right? Because my soul wanted to heal itself from feeling unworthy. And so that's what our souls do. So in every situation, the universe is never against you. I had a friend share with me that she had started to read the book and it wasn't speaking to her. And then she said, probably had something to do where she was emotionally in her life, that she didn't want to face that she was drawing these experiences into her life maybe. Because there's a practice that he shares with us. Because we assume when somebody is against us, which they're not, remember, but we assume they're against us. When we assume somebody's against us, then they're what? They're an enemy. In that moment, regardless if it's your partner, your best friend, when they're against you, it feels like they're an enemy. And so he has this practice that he recommends that we do. First of all, and I wanted to get you all little mirrors so we could actually do this, but you're just going to have to imagine. I want you to think of somebody in your life right now that may have disappointed you. Maybe you're angry with them. Maybe you have carved them out of your life completely and put them over here. And yet you haven't resolved the anger because they can still walk. Have you heard that expression, walk with their little dirty feet across your mind? If they're still doing that, you haven't forgiven them, just so you know. Anytime that they walk across your mind and you go into attack mode, deeper forgiveness. So just think of a person. Nobody else is going to know who the person is. Could be me. I don't know. I'm good with that. So I want you to look in the mirror, and what reflection back do you see? You. Now I want you to imagine why this bothers you, because there's a quote in the book. If I don't mind, it doesn't matter. It's when I mind that I put energy on it. So I want you to imagine, where in yourself are you disconnected from the divine? Where do you not feel whole? Where do you not feel loved? Where do you not feel heard? Whatever that energy is around this person, where in you is there a hole in your heart, if you will? Something that needs to be healed within you is being called forth. And so then, this next step is practice blessing that energy. I bless the feelings of unworthiness because I know they're not true in the mind of God, because I was born worthy. I am God informed. There's nothing unworthy about me except a story that I have made up about myself. It's not true. And yet if I'm living from that place, how do I bless that? How do I continue to bless who I am, how I've shown up, so I can grow beyond that? And then the next time somebody says something hurtful for me, I don't run to the 2-year-old who doesn't feel seen and heard. I stand in that place of, it's not about me. Because truly, it's not about you. We have heard this in all spiritual books, all self-help books. Ernest Holmes talks about it. We project, I personally like to say vomit, ourselves onto other people all the time. All the time. If we're not being kind and we're not coming from love, we're projecting our feelings onto other people. Because if we truly are God informed, then all we are is love and kind. Right? So anything outside of that self is a human experience. It's an illusion, and we've chosen to live from that. And so you bless that. And then the third step is do the right thing and do good. And what does that mean? In a relationship where you've allowed to get your feelings hurt, it might be actually making a verbal amends to the person. If you're in a partnership, if you have a sweetheart or just a really good friend, and you get into something and you know that you overreacted or that you acted from a place of being hurt, can you make amends for that? Can you make amends with somebody who thinks differently than you? And you don't have to play with these people if it's something that is really, really like a child abuse, or if you were in a relationship where you were physically abused. You don't have to go be friends with this person. You don't have to have dinner with them. It's one mind. You can make amends and do good by saying, I see the God in you. I forgive you because I choose to let go of hurt. Don't make them wrong for who they are. They get to process and change who they are themselves. What you want to do is let them go. Right? Remember Edwene Gaines? When she said about her husband, I forgive you, you son of a goose. That's not what she said, but that's close enough. Right? And she kept saying it and saying it and saying it until finally she could really get to the place, I forgive you. And not from a place of, I forgive you because I'm right and you're wrong. Because forgiveness sometimes feels that way, doesn't it? I'm going to forgive you because you hurt my feelings. Nobody hurt your feelings. They're your feelings. You need to own that when something happens and you feel anger, that's your anger. That's not their anger. They don't control you. Just imagine if somebody was really, really angry at you and you just stood there and thought to yourself over and over again, I see the power and presence of God within you. Or just repeated the word namaste over and over again, not out loud. Just dispel the energy. I'm not going to say that maybe the person isn't going to walk away and say something unkind like, you're crazy. Or maybe just stop. How many of you have raised kids? Remember that old thing about redirect? Instead of when a screaming child is screaming at them to stop screaming? How much sense does that make? How many parents have done that? I know. I'll own it. I did. You know, you get wound up in the energy of the child. They're screaming. Okay, I'll scream louder. And then what do? They scream louder. And then we scream. I mean, you know, it's crazy making. And now as adults, we do the same thing. It's crazy making. Bless them. Don't do the dance. You don't have to be right, believe it or not. Or you can say to the person, I realize this is right for you, and I realize that I have something that is right for me, and we're never going to agree. Thank you for sharing. Can you get to that place of really understanding what it means to be the divine in form? Can you truly grasp? Because see, this story or this guided imagery that this woman wrote, I personally believe is true. I personally, and many of you can sit there and look at me and say, yeah, she's crazy. It's okay. I believe we're a soul that goes on and on forever. I believe each and every one of us chose to be here. So if we chose to be here, why wouldn't we choose our gifts? And then part of the human experience, evidently, is to take those gifts and protect them from everybody and hide them behind brick walls. And nobody's going to know this about my gifts because they'll make fun of me or whatever we learned as a child. I'm not going to express my gifts. And then the truth is, we aren't only damaging our soul, we're shortchanging everybody else that came to earth. Everybody else that's here wants to see you live and be the best you. Why? Because then you give them permission to do the same thing. If we're constantly going to hide ourselves from each other, we're stuck. We're stuck. We have the power to shift that by being open, available, and aware and loving, regardless of what the situation is. Am I really good at that? No. I practice. Sometimes I practice and I get an A, and sometimes I practice and people don't even know I'm practicing. I've missed the mark so much because I am human. And I've had a lot of practice being reactive. And so just to breathe in and allow myself just a breath before I choose. As anybody knows who has ridden with me in a car or sat with me at a dinner table, I have a running commentary. Well, you could ask Reverend Eric, because we shared a room when we went on retreat with each other, and he finally said to me, Gayle, did you know that you misplace things all the time? I said, no more than anybody else. It's just I talk out loud about it. And when I really understood that I talk out loud a lot about stuff was, Bernie's here taking a test, and I don't want to disturb him. He's sitting in my office because I'm his proctor. And so I started to do the banking on Monday, which is what I do. And as things started to unfold, there were comments I wanted to make. Now, obviously, I'd been making those comments every single Monday morning. Maybe different comments, but I talk out loud. And it made me laugh because the thoughts were running through my mind, but I was like, you can't say those out loud. You don't want to disturb Bernie. And then I'd sit and I'd work, and then another comment would come up, and I'd be like, oh, you don't want to say that out loud. You'll disturb Bernie. And then I just burst out laughing. And Bernie kind of looked at me like, what? And I said, while you're testing, what I've realized is I have a running commentary about life. And because I spend most of my time here by myself or in a car by myself, it's where I have running commentary the most. Then you add people in the car with me, and they want to comment on my commentary. It's like, you don't need to do that. This isn't a conversation. This is a commentary. I'm letting you know the light is red or green, or look at that person walking across the street. I'm just talking. My husband believes I can make a lot of money. Just put a Facebook live stream in my car and then drive. Let everybody ride along with me. So we all have gifts. I don't know what that gift is. I haven't figured it out yet. Maybe it's learning how to be very observant. I don't know. But each one of us has a way of being in the world, and to own it and be good with it. And to adore yourself for who you are. To forget about everything that anybody or everybody has ever said that is unkind about you. Because it's not true. The next time somebody says something unkind, look at them and say, what's going on with you? You must be having a really bad day today. Right? Right? And that's what? Why would you say that? I'm mad at you? Well, it's just a projection. Give him my number, because this probably won't go well. You probably want to do that in silence. Just like, this isn't about me. This isn't about me. This is about somebody in my life seeking love. Because remember, if we're not expressing love, we're seeking love. And sometimes we seek love like a 2-year-old that doesn't know what else to do except to scream and stamp its feet to get your attention. And so we start feeling like we've been treated unjustly. So nobody is against you. Everything that happens in your life, and for some of us, it's like, yeah, no. And what if? What if you took every situation in your life that was unpleasant and had it work for you? Because in every situation there is a gift. I think the most powerful people in the world are those people that lost family in 9/11 and then could bless the people flying the planes because those two were their children. There was a mother that actually said that on PBS radio. When her son died in 9/11, he was a fireman. And she literally said, I bless those that overtook the plane because they are my children too. And if I don't love them, who's going to? And it's when we're unloved that we spread anger and hate. It's when we don't feel that we're connected to other people. So we have to be that army of love, if you will. We're the ones that have to stand in that place and say, enough. I'll show up. I'll express love. I'll be that good. And sometimes we're going to fail because the wound is too deep or the button was too big. And when that happens, you go to that mirror and you look at yourself and you say, I love you. because I know that you know I'm doing the best I can. And I promise next time I'll do better in that situation. If we're not going to do it, who is? You know, we are a community founded on unconditional love. We are a community that says everybody is welcome here. And that means everybody is welcome here. If we're going to say that we are that community, then we need to live those principles as much as possible, as often as possible. Because we don't teach separation, we teach oneness. So we're all playing in that magnificent quantum soup, if you will, of the divine, each and every one of us. Each and every one of us. We are connected heart to heart, soul to soul, mind to mind. There is no separation. That's an illusion. And so live from that place the next time somebody really makes you angry. Live from that place. So let's pray. Just breathe in. Allow yourself to feel the energy of the room. Allow yourself to let go of all the illusion and feel the beat of your heart. And then know that every person here, every person everywhere, every living thing feels that beat, knows that connection. We are one. We are one with that which always has been, always will be, and certainly is right here and right now. We are one. There is no separation. We are one. There truly is only love. And from that place of love, I choose, and I allow each of you to choose also, to feel that grace, that love, that compassion, to know that you have the power to shift and change. And with that, the energy around you will shift and change. There is nothing to fear. We are here to express ourselves fully, loudly, boldly as one. So that is what I know right here and right now for each person here, is they stop telling themselves they can't, or they shouldn't, or they won't. And they realize what their heart is telling them right now is yes, yes, yes. There is a quote about when the sun shines down, the angels whisper to every blade of grass, grow. If they're whispering to the angels, if the angels are whispering to a blade of grass, they are certainly whispering to all of you, grow. So from that, I just say thank you, God. Thank you for this time. Thank you for this community. Thank you for the opportunity to grow. So I turn all of these words over, knowing that as it is spoken, it is done, it is complete. We're grabbing this bull by the horns, and we're going to ride it to the end of time. Knowing that we express ourselves fully, I just say thank you, God, and so it is.